you for your knowledge. I am, I'm a fan. I tell David, it's just like, you have to get to know Elyce. She's amazing. So thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy, and I'm extremely grateful to the universe that in the moment, for it was a few months, but it was just very intense months that we had. I had the privilege to to spend with you and have you like close to me. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. I
Oh,
said the same exact feeling towards you. You've been very special from day one. So I appreciate you recognizing what I recognize in you. And that is really good.
oh, you're amazing. All right, so our conversation today is about herbs, you know, and guys, I had a privilege to kind of to know Elyce while she was going through her education on regarding to the beautiful medicine called herbs, the herbal medicine, and I'm very, 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 very happy to have this conversation because uh, we have a lot of going on in the world right now regarding to medication, what to do, what not to do, and we are lost. But I think that once we turn to the traditional way to heal our bodies, I think that is the most effective way. But Western medicine kind of block the information, this precious information. That's why I believe that Elyce is going to not only help me, but help whoever is watching this live, whoever, watch our videos in the future. And please, guys, contact Elyce. She's here on Instagram, so she's for real. She's super smart. She's amazing. So Elyce, can you share a little bit about this? How did it happen? Your passion about the herbs? What was the start?
What was the start? The journey really comes from the massage therapy component. So I'm a certified massage therapist. So it started mostly then when I was really connected to healing in general. I applied to pre-med at UCLA, and I started at UCLA, and I just really feel comfortable with the energy that was pre-med at UCLA. It's very cutthroat, and at that time I just wasn't of that. I wasn't cut of that thread. I was not sort of really happy and feel like it was super secure. It's very personal and altruistic, and at the time the quality didn't really resonate. I couldn't make space in that environment, and so it turned me off. Right? So I decided to pursue education psychology philosophy instead. But I'd always been fascinated by how much not. If you have a body and you see yourself heal from wounds, or you get a fever, or you can run miles upon miles upon miles, or you can stuff yourself in an ice bath for a minute, but you become in awe of your potential. And so the years went by, and I decided that I was going to go on an meditation retreat with your husband, and it was there that I made the decision to switch to the alternative healing art. And that's when I started working for a chiropractor and acupuncturist, managing the
That's awesome. That's amazing. That's amazing. I remember when I was little, like teenager, I used to buy little booklets. In Brazil, we have like booklets about plants and stuff, and that was like when I got super curious. So because Brazil, we have, you know, a lot of herbs, but we are not educated about the use, how to use them, and we have to be careful with that, right?
Very much so.
Okay, so can 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 you kind of share a little bit what are the precautions that people have to have uh, when they
Yeah,
start using herbs?
so there's a lot to consider with herbs. I mean, each plant itself is such a dynamic amount of intelligence and capacity within one little thing that's far beyond what we realize when we look at it. So the same plant that can cause a headache can potentially also cure a headache. And so what modern medicine and pharmaceuticals have done is they've kind of reduced plants down to the ages that they think are going to be what curative to the symptoms that they want to specifically attack. But plants themselves, they're whole organisms on their own. And so how they interact with our body as a whole organism on its own can be completely different than what we hoped or anticipated based on what we read and like as far as what it's supposed to do. Because our constitutions are always very, we as individuals are constantly changing. We're in an environment that's constantly changing. So we have to be really careful, really, really careful, and really, really gentle when we start to bring herbs into our lives. And so there are kind of a couple categories of herbs that then I would suggest in that sense that would be helpful. And I would call them nourishing herbs. There are a few of those. And some of those are specific to the immune system, which we can get into in a little bit. But um, the one in particular that I really, really love is nettles. And we can go to sitting nettles, talk about sitting nettles, and figure out how that might be beneficial. But for the most part, my recommendation is to seek someone who's professional and has this information. So like an acupuncturist or uh, any type of herbalist or phytotherapist, anybody that has this experience, and even like homeopathic doctors as well. Those are your allies. So definitely rely on them. Seek blood work from them. Make appointments with them, and then consider having conversations that are a little bit more in depth about your personal goals as well as what the herbs themselves will do.
Oh wow, I that's the first time I heard about requesting a blood work to. Wow. So why would I kind of go a little bit deeper and investigate about my blood? What element in my blood I'm just trying to identify to to use the right herb?
Well, in your blood work, if you were to get a complete blood count, you'd be able to see the list of different minerals and therefore the levels for this mineral or next type.
Mhm.
Because if you start taking an herb, for example, like minerals, very high in minerals, but if you're already high in minerals, you don't want to flood your body with more minerals. Maybe you want to give yourself a different herb that's going to neutralize the amount of minerals that you have in your body. And so therefore, it's good to have some sort of baseline. So some herbalists would be, and I think the herbalists are, there's a lot more herbalists that are combining both the Western and Eastern because at this point in time, they're so absolutely necessary. They'd be able to combine those two. I, personally, for a time, I used to be an acupuncturist who also, because they're an acupuncturist, they did traditional Chinese medicine, which incorporated herbs. He would always do my blood work first. So we would look at my blood work, we would look at the levels. For me specifically, I saw it for my thyroid. We look at my thyroid and then get prescribed based on my blood work and the levels of my thyroid different herbs that would help either boost or decrease, or increase or decrease, I rather say, in different levels and different purposes. Because herbs can do so many things. They can help clear your blood, they're alterative, they're antispasmodic, they're diuretics. They do so many things, and that's where some of our modern medicine already comes from. And so many of these herbs are just reduced down to one component, whereas
Wow. That's why we need actually a professional to investigate all this information because well, me as a trainer, I have people just like, what is the best tea for weight loss? Just like, okay, but we need to first to find out why you're not losing weight. Period. It's just like where's the root, right? Because it can be hormonal, it can be that your liver it is it's in super need of detoxification. You might your gastric system is it's probably not functioning well. Then we go to gut. Then we go to uh, so many things, right? Everybody's like just trying to find that magic pill, just like give me something, that is going to make me lose weight. So that's yes, no, no, no. Kind of, we really have to go. And I think that um, as a health coach, the first thing I approach with my clients, especially those that are seeking to lose weight, it is first to investigate the inflammations that are being triggered in their body, right? Because sometimes all the systems, it's basically dealing with some sort of inflammation. Our body's always, at one point, it's just dealing with inflammation. Do you think that is like, at first, it is it's a good start just to kind of target the inflammation, the body inflammation?
I mean, yes and no.
Okay.
Because you have to understand if the inflammation is due to some immunological response in terms of like a antigen coming into the body, which is a foreign substance that can cause harm.
Uh-huh.
Allergen coming into the body because some allergies cause inflammation, and that's not just the big pollen itself, but there's allergies to food. So I personally have experienced a lot of allergies to food, and that involves so much inflammation that I have to readjust all my herbal intake, plus my diet, plus my exercise to counteract that sort of inflammation as well. So again, definitely inflammation is a response from our immune system, and it's a response that your body's trying to figure out, okay, what are we attacking? What's going on? What needs help? What needs support? It's not what we get. Whatever this substance is, we're considering it a foreign agent in our body and get it to get out of here. So it is important to understand what is foreign and why it's causing inflammation. But we wouldn't just say general inflammation, right? We have to be very specific on how you're being inflamed and what it is exactly. And again, because we are human beings, we're living in a human, environment, an external environment. We're not separate. So that's something I really wanted to emphasize that is not really, I think, discussed from a Western perspective in medicine is that we don't really look at the immune system as a functioning kind of system from an ecological perspective, not just a biomedical kind of perspective. And it's from this ecological perspective that I want to discuss the role in human life. And so when we look at human immunity, we look at it as a bio component of the interface between the individual and our world, because we will always be interfacing between the world and ourselves. Otherwise, we would live in this very sterile bubble and we would never interact with anybody. We wouldn't have anybody. There'd be no hugs. There'd be no intimacy. There'd be nothing because we'd be so afraid to interact with your environment. But the reality is, you have to. And so what that means is that you would like to create a delicate balance of interacting with your environment in a way that you cannot be afraid to go outside, especially during daytime. And this really is very, time for this conversation because there's a lot of fear with like, how much do I go outside and interact with the grocery store? Do I not go to the grocery store? Do I have stuff in? Do I wipe down everything? There's so much fear around it. But the fact of the matter is, if you're alive and you're here right now on the planet, you exist in this environment. So how can you give yourself the tools? How can you give yourself the support to one, mentally feel like you can do it?
Yeah.
To emotionally feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
And then three, to physically be able to handle it. And so having herbal support is absolutely one of those methods. Having conversations like this is another method, right? Just talking about what we experience that we have, right? Easing some of our anxieties over those that are kind of relaxed, find it
Awesome. Talking about balance, I think that is one of the, um, or I would say, I think it is the trigger for the first stage of triggering inflammation in our body, because then our brain sends a little signal to a little message to our adrenal gland, and then in a second we have all of this cortisol going, all over our body. And sometimes a few people, when they are dealing with high stress all the time, when they never calm down, when they don't reach that balance, the cortisol is all the way up here. That's when they don't rest. They are always dealing with mood swings. They're always like, about to explode. And that's when acidity is just, forming in our body. And then we have, the worst case scenario with our health. Um, so to with this said, just going back to the balance you mentioned, which herb do you think it is the ones that people can start, like easy herbs, herbs that we don't need to investigate too much, um, maybe like some specific conditions. What herbs people can start using right now just to kind of try to reach that balance, or just something, because COVID is just driving everybody insane.
I want to speak a little bit too about the immune system so that there's kind of some context to how these herbs can be beneficial. And just kind of overall, but like in short, the immune system recognizes what's you and what's not you. So when there's foreign body substances, antigens, allergens that are entering through your breathing, through your pores, through whatever you ingest, right? Your body automatically is like identifying, breaking it down in the beginning. Is this part of me? Is it okay to be here? Do we need to hear it? you will pee a lot. So you want to stay hydrated. That way, especially if you're doing something that's working on lymphatic system and flushing so much, your fluid out of your body, you definitely want to stay hydrated with that. So I highly recommend those. A few others that you may be familiar with or may have heard of before, like Reishi and Shivasana, Ashwagandha is another really good use, and these are fun. But they have this effect, and again, like Sandra Berry, for example, is an incredible stimulant. But if you're already like really kind of have a constitution that's very busy and energetic and fiery, then that would just put you over the edge. You want something to utilize your or balance you out. You want something a little bit more relaxing in that sense. And ashwagandha might be of that nature, might be a little bit more relaxing for you than shivasana. But again, thinking with somebody about this would help you identify that. But I highly, highly recommend metals. And then as far as surface immunity goes, like those moments when you're just kind of feeling like you're getting sick or something coming on, the most popular that everybody knows is echinacea. People just eat down echinacea tea, and that's great. It's a great stimulant, but it's only meant to be had short term. Some people just drink it all season through, but it's not going to be as effective if you just have some for a short period of time. So another one that I recommend, and I recommend specifically now, given that fact that we're dealing with COVID-19, is elderberry tonic. So if you can make an elderberry syrup or elderberry tincture or anything with elderberry specifically, there's also elderflower. If you can find your hands, if you put your hands on any elderberry syrup or something of that nature, that would be a really good ally to have for certain things. You can just kind of, you can start taking elderberry now if you wanted to, just gradually having a little bit each day or elderberry tincture just a little bit each day, and have the support already instilled to help carry you through once you start transitioning into the fall season. And then the last thing I wanted to suggest that I think is really great for everybody and may also be a bit of a surprise is bone broth. A lot of people don't think of their food as their kind of food, and bone broth is absolutely a great immune modulator. It's so healthy and beneficial, and it also makes a non-bone broth, which you use a lot of mushrooms. A lot of mushrooms are adaptogenic, and they're fully supportive of the immune system. So you can, if you're vegan, which I'm all about too, you can absolutely make a non-bone broth, and it'll be just as good. And if you ever need a recipe, contact me at house for you so that you can select that. But a lot of people don't realize that bone marrow is also a part of our system. So when you're taking down, breaking down bones and putting it into the broth and you're ingesting that inside of you, we're just replenishing and storing some of the stuff that it needs us, the body needs things. So bone broth is an excellent alternative. Vegan bone broth is just as effective and really powerful because mushrooms are unbelievable themselves. I could talk a whole other hour about mushrooms.
Do it. Not today, but we should schedule.
Yeah, so those three are the three that I would highly recommend. By the way, if you were interested in just getting some skinny metals or maybe your own bone broth, or you can also add burdock. Burdock is bone broth is good, or if you have burdock root, some cultures use burdock root in their cooking, or you can just juice it. You can drink burdock juice as well. Yeah, and then the other one was elderberry. So those three are the ones that I recommend.
I remember you drinking a lot of burdock last year. Like, what are you drinking, Elyce? Yeah, no, it was just like because it was my skin, it was I was just like having the worst with my skin. I was just like, Elyce, what should I drink? It's like you have to drink this. But I found out that it was it was hormonal, so kind of had to go through a whole that's why you really want to talk with a professional, because you need to investigate what is going on, okay, so I have two questions. The first one, it is, what is because you mentioned tincture, you mentioned the infusion. So can you just like briefly explain what is like the bath and the difference in tea, tincture, the infusion? So people can kind of understand a little bit?
Absolutely. So the best way that I would recommend utilizing either of those forms is to first just ask yourself, how do you want to feel when you ingest these things, and how often do you want to ingest these things? So like tea is by far my favorite. I love herbal infusion, and an herbal infusion is basically tea that's been sitting for 4 to 8 hours. And some herbs require hot water, some herbs require cold water. But once you know which one you will want to let it sit for about 4 to 8 hours, and then that way you can make a big amount, and then you can drink it just as a tea. I started using it in some of my cooking so that I would saute, I would make a nettle herbal infusion, and I would saute my mushrooms with the nettles. So you can kind of start getting creative with that as well. And I personally, I like drinking tea. I think there's something very soothing in the act itself. And so my favorite way to ingest these herbs for a very long time was the teas themselves. And you can use dry herbs or fresh herbs. With tinctures are fantastic because you can take your flowers that are in bloom. So right now we're in summer, and there's so many flowers, there's so many plants that are in their full expression, and it's the perfect time to take them at their peak so that their energy is right at the tip of your finger, and take them, and then you would put them in parts alcohol and parts water, and then you let them sit for about 3 months, sometimes between at least 4 weeks, sometimes, 6 weeks at minimum. Sometimes I let it sit a little longer. So maybe right now you'd be wanting to make a bunch of tinctures, like for example, calendulas, beautiful flowers that are blossoming out through November, but if you would take that and make a tincture with them, you would make it so that by November, December, January, right in the thick of flu season, you use calendula for your lymphatic system as well as nettles, and you can still help your lymphatic system really function freely throughout that period of time. And that would again would be in a part alcohol, part water. And so the ingestion would be different because you're ingesting alcohol. So it's a little bit stronger, it's a little bit bitter. But you would have it in a small bottle on hand. You travel amazingly. It doesn't require hours of work other than to just make it. When you first make it, it takes a little bit of time to put it inside, but once it's out, drink, they're at your leisure. You can take them very easy and however often you want. And so with herbs that are more for the nervous system, I highly recommend tinctures because throughout the day, if you're taxed or if you're anxious or if you're nervous or you're feeling on edge, tinctures for the nervous system are absolutely fantastic. You can drop them in sparkling water and regular water, whatever you have, or you can just put them under your tongue or on your tongue, doesn't matter. And you take them 3 to 4 times throughout the day, and it's really good to have that. Well, it's also emotionally reassuring to have those right there. And then, so I highly recommend tinctures for those. And then because tinctures have a bit of a bitter taste, there's also you can add honey to those. So those are different types of tincture. You have almond milk, which is honey and vinegar, or you can have the honey with the tincture, and you have these delicious kind of delightful medicines that you're making yourself at home with herbs from your garden or herbs that you're getting from the state store based on what it is that feels right in your heart and in your body, and or having talked to somebody professionally. So those are really good ones. Some that people don't realize or think about that are also fantastic concepts for topicals. So stuff that you put on your skin. So I've been using coconut oil, organic coconut oil, and I've been using it for months with different herbs, so like mugwort or rosemary or lavender. And in the morning, I'll just start my day with an entire coconut oil infused lavender self massage after I get out of the shower.
Wow.
And my nervous system is already like in the zone. It's like, okay, like we're gathered, like we're right here because I'm nourishing my skin, which is the biggest organ in my body. I'm feeling it in my own touch. And then my nervous system is stimulated from that by the oil moving into my pores and feeling the, getting into my body. And then the herbs itself, the lavender, both ingested through my skin and through my olfactory smell. Like it takes an effect. And so there's so many ways
I love it. I absolutely love it. It just came to I have a one question here from my beautiful friend. You met her, Ranika. Uh, her company Drink Rosewood. Rosewood is just killing. Do you remember her? The sparkling red water. Yes, she's killing. So her question, I, we need to send you. I'm going to send you some. Uh, so her question is it's basically about the favorite herbs. I think Renika, if you're still there, what are your favorite for beginners?
Favorite for beginners are calendula, nettle, what else? Kava. Kava is a great one. Kava is a great one. Very much in your body. It's very grounding. So
I need that one.
sage for cleansing, but also sage for ordinary sage to ingest in tea or sage in your food too. That's also a good one.
Love it.
But again, my favorite by far has to be nettle or kava.
Okay, great. So Nikki, she is asking if I can just put up the spelling of some herbs. Yes, I will. I will do that. I will just ask Elise just to write down, and I will just put in the comments, okay, or description
Yeah.
of the video. Yeah.
Okay.
And my other question is, are you? I have so many questions. Are you producing your own tinctures? Because if you are, I will be one of your clients. I know you are. Your
I didn't say this earlier, and I do feel I got excited. I did want to mention that my sister, this specific work that I do is really rooted in gratitude for my lineage, for all the people who had such part of the practice. So I just want to give thanks to the ancestors and thanks to the land and thanks to all of this knowledge that I feel very fortunate to be reconnected to. It's a part of all of us. Every human has the right and the capacity to work with everything that's around us. It's part of who you are. You have your own knowledge, have your own topics to create your well-being. So I just want to say that when I do make medicine, it's very much in that ceremony, very much in that respect. It's held in a sacred space with so much love and care so that it meets the hands of the person it's supposed to be for. So I do come at it.
yes,
To answer your question.
yes. But right now, where's the best place to buy herbs? Because we want good quality, right? So you are in LA, but online, how can we find good quality herbs?
I get my herbs from Mountain Rose Herb or Starlight Botanical, and they're both online. They're both incredible. Um, I have recommended these to some people, and other people have done their research on herbs or powders visiting on each other places. But I highly recommend looking thoroughly, asking questions, making sure you're comfortable with what their definition of organic is, where they're sourcing them. Some people are outsourced to other countries, so like, how do you feel about that? Not only you don't really know the land itself, or besides that, like the impact of having ships from all the way over there, like good questions you want to ask yourself to make sure that you're getting the best sources. The other recommendation I have is growing your own. So making a little herb garden. I just finished making the herb garden, and I have actually an herb garden back here
I love it. So beautiful.
and if you look online, I can't remember the name of this website, but there's a website that lists tons of places you can buy organic seeds, non-GMO, and I highly recommend buying seeds. It's something that even just calls to you. You may not know what it is. You see the name, you're like, yeah, I want that. So you get it, plant it, and then learn about it. Take the time to think like, well, what is this exactly? Maybe there was something in your heart that made you needed that, and that's a beautiful way to recognize again that relationship that already exists
Awesome, awesome. It just came here, it just crossed my mind. A beautiful experience I had with herbs that people, it was something that I am sure it was done a long time ago, like a lot. But we don't do too much because we rely a lot on the pink salt with essential oil and stuff. But I do remember my first Kundalini session with actual with a professional because guys, Kundalini it's amazing, but you need to do Kundalini with if you don't know if you don't know anything, just find a professional, find someone that knows how to do the Kundalini properly. And this person, she told me just like, okay, so before you go to sleep, you have to take a bath with herbs. And I look at her just like, where am I going to find the herbs? You were telling me like right now we just had the session and it's part of the whole ceremony and now, but I actually could find everything in the supermarket, you know. So do you have any recommendations like for people to? But I really enjoy my bath sometimes with Epsom salt, especially people that work out a lot.
I love herbal baths.
So can you
So
briefly say something
so
about
herbal baths.
that?
Herbal
Okay.
baths are nice if you add them. Herbal baths really change your day. They can make something feel incredible and amazing. I highly recommend herbal baths. Any rose petals, dried or fresh, after dried or fresh, always be just great. Any flowers, dried or fresh. I mean, what people may or may not realize is that there's an abundance around that. In actuality, if you go outside and look around and take time, we don't really recognize it because it's not something that's a normal everyday conversation. But once your eyes are kind of privy to it, once you're experiencing what's going on, you will be able to see that there is so much around here. There's so much abundance of herbs and plants that you can use. Put it in your mouth. You can use absolutely. There's so much.
All right. Do you believe that the same herbs you listed previously can we use in our bath? Would that have any impact in our immune system too?
The calendula would be great. The calendula would be fantastic in the bath. The kava, you would want to make a special beverage that would combine it with the fat. So I'd recommend coconut. So you have like coconut milk or coconut oil, and you would blend it to have this tea that then you could strain it, but you could also just let the sediment sink to the bottom while you drink it, and that the blending of the kava root with the actual fat of the coconut is the traditional form of drinking kava. There are features of kava, but they taste and react a little differently because the fat is a constant constituent that has a different chemical response that gets a different reaction out of it. So I wouldn't recommend bathing in kava, but calendula absolutely. Uh, Nettle probably not. Just sting a little bit. So I would rather make it tea instead of nettle that way. So like any other flowers, calendula is a beautiful flower. So any flowers you come by, those would be perfect for herbal bath.
I'm going to try for sure. Okay, guys, we expose like some other ways that herbs can actually be used right now, and not only as a tea form, but tincture, lotion. I love it. Thank you so much, Elise, for to teach me a little bit more about herbs, and I'm just like, wow, it's everywhere. We can do everything with it, basically.
Yeah, and that's the one message that I hope that I can leave with everybody is the understanding of the power that you actually have for yourself. You don't necessarily have to rely on the prescribing something, although there's nothing to negate that, and there's nothing to say that there aren't medicines that are amazing that are out there that are made for specific things. But to have the ability to make some sort of herbal remedy realize the power of choice and the environment, the more we're going to be able to take care of ourselves and the environment.
Awesome. One last question. What's the herb for headaches?
Yarrow.
Okay.
Yarrow's a good one. There's another one too, but yarrow's really good as well.
Okay, but I will also recommend to investigate a little bit deeper the why you're having the headaches at first. We need to find out from where it's coming. Elyce, do you have any other? I'm sorry.
Maybe you're not getting enough water. Maybe if you just increase your water intake, you would have less dehydration and therefore maybe less headache. Or for example, for me personally, I was having really severe headaches that were triggered by thyroid. And so I was taking Tylenol, I was stopping system, but I wasn't attacking the root problem. So again, I agree with you 100%. It's like investigate, are you chronic? Are they acute? When do I get them?
Awesome. Oh my gosh, I appreciate you so much, sister. Do you have any final consideration?
No, just as a reminder to everyone that you can definitely empower yourself, empower your team. And it's really important that we recognize that choice really have a for this show.
Awesome. My husband just joined the live. Husband, you're late. Oh, that's okay. The live it is going to be available in my feed. Elyce, I love you so much. Thank you once again. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your knowledge. Keep your beautiful work as as a healer. I'm going to be forever your fan, you know that. And guys, if you have questions, please contact Elyce because she's this woman. She is for real. She is the real deal about yoga, about massages. What do you don't do? Like meditation? What? Do you fly too? Listen, brother.
Discover you, because ultimately it is my biggest and greatest belief is the power to heal is within ourselves. And so we're given the right tools and have the right guidance. And we choose, we make the decision to do the best that we can by whatever our goals are. And so that our potential is infinite. It's infinite what we can do. Right? So I'm here, exploring the avenues. I'm curious about myself, and my hope is that I learn something that I can share with someone else as they continue on, their, journey of their own self-discovery, how they want to take care of themselves.
Thank you for that. And a beautiful soul. Thank you so much, Elyce. I love you. Yes, guys. Please once again contact if you're curious about this path, about what the right herb for you. Please, Elyce is right here. She's available. Choose the right one. Okay. But we need to go now. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Thanks for joining. And it's so hard to say goodbye to Lee. All right. I think I just have to end the live. Yes, me too. Okay. Bye, guys. Have a wonderful evening. See you until we are going to talk more about this because she's amazing. Thank you so much. Can you hear me here on Zoom?